glad you liked it. Do you want any tweaks or additions to make it even more powerful? Before we talk about love in any form, whether it's romantic love, love for your family, love for your friends, or even love for humanity, there's one truth that cannot be ignored. You cannot give what you do not have. We've been conditioned to believe that love is something we receive from others, that our worth is somehow determined by how much love we get from the outside world. But that's a broken way of thinking, because real, powerful, life-changing love doesn't start out there. It starts inside you. Think about it. How many people do you know who are constantly searching for love, running from relationship to relationship, from one validation to the next, hoping that someone will finally make them feel whole, and yet no matter how much love they get, it never feels like enough. They always feel like something is missing. Why? Because they haven't learned the most important lesson of all. Love begins within. You have to love yourself first. And I don't mean in some shallow, Instagram scope, self-care kind of way. I mean truly, deeply, unapologetically loving who you are at your core. Loving yourself when no one is clapping for you. Loving yourself when you make mistakes. Loving yourself not because of what you achieve, not because of how you look, not because of who approves of you, but simply because you are worthy of love exactly as you are. Because here's the truth. If you don't love yourself, nothing else will ever be enough. You can have the most amazing partner in the world, but their love will never fill the hole inside you. You can have 1 million followers, but their praise will never quiet your self-doubt. You can have all the success, all the admiration, all the recognition, and still feel empty. But when you love yourself, when you truly embrace who you are, you stop chasing. You stop looking for someone else to complete you because you are already whole. You stop seeking permission to be happy because you realize happiness was always yours to claim. And something incredible happens when you love yourself first. You become magnetic. You radiate confidence, energy, and passion. The world responds to that. The relationships you attract, the way people treat you, the opportunities that come into your life, it all shifts. Because love isn't something you find, it's something you become. And the moment you realize that, everything changes. Let's get something straight. Love isn't just butterflies in your stomach. It's not just passion, excitement, or that feeling you get when you look at someone and feel like the world disappears. Those things are beautiful, but they're also fleeting. They come and go like waves in the ocean. And if your idea of love is based purely on emotion, then you'll always be at the mercy of how you feel in the moment. But real love, the kind that transforms, the kind that endures, the kind that creates something unshakable, is a choice. Think about this. If love were just a feeling, then nobody would ever stay together. Because let's be real, there are days when you don't feel like being loving. There are days when you're frustrated, annoyed, exhausted. There are moments when the people you love push your buttons, when life gets messy, when stress creeps in, and you don't feel that spark anymore. So what happens then? Do you walk away? Do you quit because you're not feeling it anymore? No. Because the most powerful love, the kind that stands the test of time, isn't based on a feeling, it's based on a decision. A commitment, a deep, unshakable choice to show up, to give, to serve, and to love, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's hard, even when it would be easier to turn away. Think about the greatest relationships, the greatest friendships, the greatest legacies of love ever created. Were they perfect? No. Were they effortless? Not even close. They were built through action, through people choosing every single day to love, even when it wasn't easy. Love isn't just about passion, it's about presence. It's about choosing to communicate instead of shutting down, choosing to listen instead of reacting, choosing to see the best in someone when they're struggling to see it in themselves, choosing to forgive when holding a grudge would be easier. And this isn't just about romantic love. This is about every relationship in your life. Love for your family, love for your friends, love for your mission, your purpose, your vision. Because everything great, every connection, every dream, every movement that has ever changed the world was built on the foundation of choosing love over and over again. But here's where most people go wrong. They think love should always feel effortless. That if it's hard, if it takes work, if it requires effort, then maybe it's not meant to be. But that's a lie. The truth is, anything worth having, anything truly meaningful requires work. And that's what makes it powerful, because when you choose love, not just when it's easy, not just when it's exciting, but when it's challenging, you build something unbreakable. You create a bond that isn't dependent on temporary emotions, but on something much deeper. So the question isn't, do I feel love today? The question is, will I choose love today? If I asked you, what's the most powerful force in the world, what would you say? Money, influence, intelligence, strength? Those things might have their place, but they're nothing compared to love. Because love isn't just an emotion. It's not just something we feel when things are good. Love is the force that moves mountains, breaks barriers, and transforms lives. Love is the one power that can defy logic, overcome fear, and rewrite the course of history. Think about it. What has driven the greatest acts of courage, sacrifice, and resilience in human history? It wasn't greed. It wasn't power hunger. It wasn't fear. It was love. A mother who lifts a car off her child, that's love. A soldier who risks everything for his brothers in arms, that's love. A leader who stands up against injustice despite the cost, that's love. Love is not weakness. In fact, love is the strongest force there is. It's the only power that has the ability to turn enemies into allies, pain into purpose, and struggle into strength. But here's the problem. Most people misunderstand love. They think of it as something soft, something passive, something reserved for romance and sentimentality. That's not love. Love is fierce. Love is unstoppable. Love is what makes people rise up when the world tells them to stay down. Love is what keeps a person fighting for their dreams when everyone else has given up. Love is what pushes someone to keep showing up for a family that's falling apart. Love is what fuels the artist, the entrepreneur, the revolutionary who refuses to accept the limits placed on them. And here's the most incredible part. Love doesn't run out. Other sources of power, money, fame, influence are limited. They can be taken from you. They can fade. But love, the more you give, the more you have. The more you pour into others, the more it expands. It is the only power in the world that grows the moment you choose to share it. That's why love isn't just a feeling, it's an energy, a force, a decision. And when you tap into that power, when you live from a place of love instead of fear, instead of doubt, instead of selfishness, you become So the real question isn't, is love powerful? The real question is, are you willing to use it? Right now, in this very moment, you are writing the story of your life. And whether you realize it or not, the most important story you will ever write, the one that will define your legacy, shape your relationships, and determine the depth of your fulfillment, is your love story. Now, before you start thinking about romance or fairy tales, let me stop you. Because when I say love story, I'm not just talking about your relationship with another person. I'm talking about something much bigger. I'm talking about the way you love yourself, the way you show up for the people in your life, the way you pour your heart into your work, your mission, your purpose, the way you choose every single day to love despite the hardships, despite the disappointments, despite the pain. Because here's the truth. Love is not something that happens to you. It's something you create. Too many people live their lives waiting for the right person to come along, waiting for the perfect moment to express how they feel, waiting for someone to love them the way they wish they could love themselves. But love isn't found in the waiting. Love is found in the doing. Every single day, you are making choices that are shaping the story of your life. You are choosing how you love, who you love, and how deeply you're willing to go. You are deciding whether your story will be one of passion, courage, and connection, or one of hesitation, regret, and fear. And let's be real. Most people don't write their love story with intention. They let life write it for them. They let fear keep them from being vulnerable. They let excuses keep them from reaching out, apologizing, forgiving, or expressing what's in their heart. But the greatest love stories, the ones that inspire, the ones that move us, the ones that stand the test of time, are not written by accident. They are written by choice. So let me ask you, how are you writing yours? Are you holding back? Are you letting fear stop you from loving fully, from giving deeply, from showing up the way you know you're capable of? Or are you choosing to love with everything you've got? Because at the end of the day, your love story won't be measured by the moments that were easy. It won't be measured by how many people you impressed, how many likes you got, or how perfect everything looked on the outside. It will be measured by the risks you took, the effort you put in, the times you chose to stay, to fight, to forgive, to give, even when it was hard. It will be measured by the depth of your presence, by the moments when you made someone feel seen, heard, and understood. It will be measured by how much of your heart you were willing to share with the world. And the most incredible part, your story is still being written. The page isn't finished, the chapter isn't closed, the ending hasn't been decided. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to change the narrative, to rewrite old patterns, to let go of the past, to step boldly into love in a way you never have before. The only question is, how will you write the next chapter